Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to City Skylines Mass Transit. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day, because I'm certainly excited to be back in the wonderful city, the one and only city of Nerdshire. We're currently sitting above $3 million with a population of 34,000 people, making about $7,500 per week. And I've made a couple of small changes since the last time. You might notice there's a few fewer connections to the highway along here. There was one here at a time, and there was one here. They are, well, now gone. The reason for that is quite simple. I want to start solving some of the issues that we're having with traffic coming out of this industrial zone. And for some reason, it never struck me to try using a certain district policy. So what we can do is we can go to this road and we can say that that road is going to be its own district. Now I will say, and this is something I would love to see added to the game as either a mod or an update, and I would also say if you agree with this idea, I don't usually do this, but if you happen to agree with this idea, maybe start, sharing it around the place, maybe we tweet it to cities or whatever we do. I just think I have an idea that to me happens to make a lot of sense, and that idea is basically that roads should be able to have policies applied to them that are relevant to the road. So like the heavy traffic ban, which I'm going to add to Heather District here, should be something I can just apply to a road. I should just be able to say that, no heavy traffic on that road. Now, what that should do there is let a lot of the smaller vehicles still move along that road whilst we're banning trucks from using that road, which means trucks are going to be forced out onto the highway. And that seems like a good idea to me. What I'm also going to do is extend this district to this curved stretch of road just here. And I'm also going to set a heavy traffic ban, because I'd rather the traffic was not coming off of that particular bit of highway from industrial areas. I'd rather it come off a little higher up and then drove down here. So Pleasant District is also going to have a heavy traffic ban. We'll see how that goes. Pleasant District, for the most part, yeah, other than these shops over here, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. So we'll see how that goes. I'm curious. I'm very curious. But I'm also thinking it could be an idea to go ahead and bring out a road from here, all right? Something a bit like that, and something a bit like this down here as well. So I want to connect these two together with some nice curves, all right? So we're going to go about 15 units. Well, you know what? I'm going to use a different method for this. Here's what I'm going to do. Connect those diagonally. And then bulldoze those bits. Because what we can now do is go straight in here with some nice curves. So something a bit like that for that bit. And something a bit like that for that bit. Now that one doesn't look as nice. I'd like to change that up a little bit, I think. But I want to get a little section of road in here that I think will look really nice. So that's going to go there, and that's going to go probably there would make more sense. I wonder if I could just get those to connect together. Maybe that would be a better idea. So we just go for like a little stretch of road that comes out to there, maybe even a little bit further, and then we just curve around to get those two to connect. That kind of works. I guess we'll see what happens with that. That is another connection. That is possibly a road that heavy traffic is going to take. So we'll see what happens with that. That could be a road that works well for us. I know a lot of people were commenting, suggesting that we do add another road that is an alternative to the highway. So we'll see how this performs. I'm also aware of the fact that there seems to still be some stop signs here, which we do not need nor want. Might be an idea to turn off the traffic lights there as well, just to let this traffic move. Same with that spot, maybe a couple of stop signs at the sides there. Again, just letting that traffic go. Quite a bit of traffic coming this way, but that is going to be good. We should see a lot of the garbage trucks come down here, which I'm very excited about. As for this road here, it is actually clearing out. Part of the problem with that road, of course, being the train line that goes across it, but I like how that looks. That's an aesthetic choice that the train track is there. So that's just gonna basically stay there. Now, we do have a lot of demand for residential zoning as well. That's something I would love to deal with. I'd also love to deal with the fact that we are having a bit of a death wave across the city. But again, that is just a thing that happens. I also think I want to get rid of this little bit of highway here, though. So this is going to go too, because I feel like... I don't know. I feel like that's a good idea. I feel like getting rid of that might be a good move. Just to see how the traffic moves. I'm basically just doing a lot of experimenting. That's what's going on here. I'm doing a lot of experimenting because I'm not entirely sure what'll work. I'm throwing a lot of ideas at the wall and I'm seeing what sticks. Obviously, a lot of serious traffic problems in here. That's part of the reason the death wave looks the way it does. That's part of the reason there's all these abandoned buildings, but they will rebuild after 4 weeks in game. Basically, hearses can't get to the buildings currently. We probably also don't have amazing crematorium coverage. So we'll throw one down here. And we could probably do with getting another one or two in some areas like there. And we could probably do with maybe another one just up here as well. Just to get a little bit more capacity from the crematoriums there. That's, I think, going to be a really good thing. Healthcare coverage in general is lacking a little bit. Fire coverage is okay, despite, you know, maybe not this area over here. And policing is relatively okay as well. So all of the problems across the city will go away with time. Death waves fade with time. Abandoned buildings fade with time. Generally, we should be okay. So we don't have much to concern ourselves with there. I think what I want to do, to be honest, is I want to expand... I want to change this highway. I want to get rid of this bit here. And then I want to expand over here a little bit to get more housing there. But we're going to get this out of here. Because it was nice at the time. It was definitely a nice stretch of highway to have. But I reckon we can make something that's going to look a bit better. So what I'm going to do, to begin with for this highway, is I'm going to stick with 3 lanes for the time being. And what I like the idea of doing is raising it up and pretty much just going like this. There is going to be a little bit of a bridge section there, but that's totally fine. So do a bit of highway there, leave a gap, and bring this back. So those two are right beside each other. We're going to loop around and connect those up shortly. I then want a bit of highway that's going to sort of go there. And it's going to go to about there as well. Then I'd like it to sort of curve around again. And sort of go straight across the top of this lake. So something like, something a bit like this. So about that point. And we'll leave the little gap and run it along. And just like that, we have a new highway loop that I think looks kind of cool. Except for that bit, which is really not cool at all. It's actually kind of terrible right there. So we're going to just get rid of that little bit for a second. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and flatten out the terrain here a little bit. So that we can maybe get ourselves a bit of highway that doesn't look terrible. So something a bit like that. We'll let the simulation run for a second. Then all we need to do is run up like that. And there we go. That looks much better. And that'll serve exactly the same job that the previous highway did. It's just this one isn't going right across here. And I think it looks much, much better for it. What this also means is that we can go ahead and start throwing in some more keys around here. We can also start putting in some of the canals that we're going to need in this area, which is very exciting. So there are new canals. There's the wide, deep canals. And what I'd like to do is basically throw one through there, like that. Because that is going to be a way to get ships through there. It's going to be interesting seeing how this works, though. Because it might not. We might just want to go with a we might just want to go with a natural alternative to the canals. In the sense that we can bulldoze that. That's going to mess with the water for a second. But what we can do is just, you know, grab the terrain here. And, there is a proper little thing. That's a canal right there. That's why. Grab the terrain there and just level it out. Oh, wow. That's not what I wanted to do. Tell you what we'll do. We'll level this out for a second like that. Make the brush a bit smaller and bring the terrain back up over here. So that we're not messing with things too much, you know? That might be, we might have caused some problems, but I'm gonna try and make that work at least. So that right there should be a decent little path for that water to flow through. I'm gonna do the same up here as well. So I'm gonna cut through there like that and try and get a decent little path for the water to flow through. Because I want to try and play around with ferries at some point here. So something like that. The water's gonna mess up for a little bit, obviously. This area here, for example, is gonna flood for a little bit as well, which is not really ideal. We might actually need to look into getting a pumping service. That might be a really good idea. So, maybe we should throw something like that in over here. We could throw it right there, but, I'm thinking somewhere like there for a pumping service. It is kind of far away from where we're flooding, but it's an empty space. Those trucks are going to head out, and, they're going to do their thing. So they'll hit the highway, probably. Actually, no, I don't think they will. Oh, they are. They're going to hit the highway and hopefully get to the flooded parts of the city, which are way over there. But this really shouldn't be a problem. And I never get to use these guys. Oh, wow, they are going to be waiting for a while on that traffic. Yeah, that's not ideal right there. Hopefully they can get around the flood water, the traffic and get to the floodwaters, though. It does look like this area is flowing quite nicely, though. That's beautiful to see. So clear out some of the trees there. Water is flowing through. Water is flowing through up there as well. Flowing pretty rapidly up there as well, which is pretty cool to see. So just go ahead and get rid of some of the trees there. I think this bit is maybe a little bit lower than these other lakes. What we can do as well is connect up this one. I think that might be a pretty good idea. So we'll go through there with some of the terrain. It's going to cost me a fair bit of money to do, but it's probably worth it. There we go. So that's going to connect up those two lakes as well, giving us another path for the ferries to take, should they wish to do so. I don't think I want to connect this one up yet, though. Now, what I would like to do, I think, I was saying that I want to build up into this area, but actually, this area here would be better. Because what we can do is we can start leveling off the terrain a little bit over here and turn it into a nice, you know, curvy waterfront. Because what we can do with a nice curvy waterfront is we can go ahead and throw ourselves a key along that. We can get some people living along that. And we can go ahead and get ourselves a couple of nice boats along the front of that as well. So I am absolutely gonna get us our first ferries here today. And I'm kind of excited about that. So that's gonna come around all the way to about there. And that looks pretty good to me. This bit here I'm going to take back, though, because I think it's going to look a little bit better if we do that. So just to about there. Might flood this area, but I think we'll be okay. Let's go ahead and get a key, then. Let's make this area look really, really cool. So that's going to be the key. I want it to start, like, under there. And I want it to run as straight as it possibly can to begin with. So like that. Oh, that looks perfect. Alright, then a run like this. I want it to come straight across, curve a little bit, curve out and around a little bit. Then like this, just the whole way around. Going a nice straight, oh, that's not what I wanted. Going a nice straight line there. Around to there. And this bridge is slightly in the way, so what we're going to do is we're going to bulldoze that for a second so we can take this underneath the bridge and hide where that would be. So you're not actually going to see the end of the key because of the bridge, or because of the road at least. So what we need to do is simply connect you to there, which is a bit of a tricky thing to do. So let me bulldoze these 2 bits here. Let me go like that. Let me see. Oh, this is being a little bit tricky, isn't it? What do I need to turn off to get this to not snap to the... that's what I need to do. So you go to about there. You go to about there. And you 2 can be connected up like that. Bit of a steep slope, but I think we can work with it. There we go. Doesn't look so bad to me. All right. We have a key the whole way along here that looks pretty darn cool. I guess at this point what we're going to do is... Well, I might move the boat museum over to here for a start and then put a ferry terminal in here. Can I do that? Would the boat museum work over there? I don't know. Maybe not. The water's pretty shallow there. We'll see what we can do. Either way, let's start connecting this area up properly. So what we want to do is get ourselves a nice tree-lined road here, because it's going to be a fancy area, obviously. So a nice tree-lined road there. And there. And there as well. Alright. We can do one down here too. So something like that, I think. It's going to be a bunch of nice connections for this area. We're going to have one big highway going straight through the middle of it. So something like that. This little bit at the end is going to be a little bit tricky to work with, but I think we can make it work. You're going to go to there. Can I curve this? I have my doubts. Oh, I technically can. Do I like that as a curve, though, is the question. Answer, no, I do not. Let's see what we can do then. So, that right there with... Ooh, let's see. That right there. That's alright. So we got a little curve there. We'll bulldoze these little bits at the end. And all we need to do now is fill this up. This right here is going to be residential zoning. Residential zoning right down on the water with boats. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be so fancy. It's going to be like no one's business. Let's have that road end there. And let's see about doing some grass-lined roads. One that goes right to there. One that goes right to there. And we'll get one that comes right down to there as well. We can even go ahead and fill up some of this space. Just a bit like that. Just to make sure we get plenty of zoning. Because that's a thing I absolutely want. I think I want to do the same with these bits too, but I think I'll just do some dead-end roads for this. Just to make life a little bit easier, so I don't have to loop all of this around. It does, of course, mean traffic is going to constantly filter back onto these roads, but I don't think that's such a big deal. As for this bit, I mean, this bit's a little tricky. These roads here are a bit close together, but I think we'll make that work. We'll do the same in here, the same over here, and then up here is going to be something. I don't really know what that upper area is going to be. But I guess we'll find out. So bring that down to there and bring this one down from that point. There we go. And over here, very similar story. So just that. And that. And that. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. That's going to be some nice, dense zoning. In fact, let me bring these down a little bit further. So we can get a little bit more in there. I like it. I do. I do quite like that. Right, let's bring this road up to there. Bring it straight across the whole way down to there and connect it. And what I think we'll do is bring an avenue like that. And I think that kind of works. I think that's kind of nice. Maybe we'll do the same there as well. And maybe just one road coming through like that. I mean, that gives us what we wanted. That gives us zoning exactly where we wanted it to be. Now let's see. Can I get this to line up? I absolutely can. Okay. This looks pretty cool to me. Like, that's right on the edge of the water there. So that's all going to be residential. all of that, every bit, residential. And I think that'll be really good. We'll do that kind of road there as well, just to get some zoning there. Obviously, there's not a... Well, there are a lot of connections to this area. Now that I look at it, there's 4 of them technically, so... Don't know why I was gonna even consider the idea that there weren't many connections there, because that would be a lie. Let's go ahead and bring water through then. So a nice big strip of water going to there. And I think a nice big strip of water going to there and there. Maybe a little bit coming through there and there. This guy can connect to the main grid. You can do similar. You can come out and do similar as well. And there we go. That area has water. The only thing I think it might struggle with would be power. So if I was to go ahead and throw like a park into one of these spots, that might be an idea. Could definitely do that. Let's see what kind of park we want, though. I think a little Japanese garden could look nice about there. I think another little Japanese garden could be nice at the end of that road. We probably also want services, now that I think about it. So maybe, yeah, elementary schools definitely need more of those. Good lord. We have not been looking after the education of this city in the slightest. High school availability, pretty bad as well. So let's maybe throw a high school over here too. So maybe the high school can go at that corner. So that'll give us a bit of high school coverage. Let's throw another one in, because again, I haven't looked at this in a while, and I feel bad for not doing it. So we've got a couple of high schools in there. That's not going to bring up the availability massively, but it'll do something. As for a university, I actually think a university down by the water would be beautiful. So I want one right there. And I actually want to put some parks next to that if I can. Which I can. They're just interesting sizes. Botanical gardens could work beautifully. That could be an interesting choice. That could be a very interesting choice. Let's do some botanical gardens next to the university. It's maybe a little bit much, but I think it'll look really nice. And I think I'll do some pedestrian paths there just to stop zoning on these main avenues. That might be an idea. Just that one anyway. But I think that looks nice. I really do. This area over here is power as well, so let's just go ahead and start filling this all in with some residential zoning. Honestly, these bits here, I would usually make those into commercial so that people aren't living against the highway, but I think in this particular case, I will pass up on that particular idea and just let them live in this entire area. I also need to remember to actually throw the ferry port terminal thing in here. So where's that gonna go? So if we look in here, we're gonna need a ferry depot somewhere. The ferry depot could very well go there. That wouldn't be the worst place in the world for it. I mean, if we connected these up, we could put the ferry depot over there, but I think that's a bit much. What if the ferry depot was, over here or something? Like, there could work, sort of. Maybe not, though. Maybe the ferry depot will just go there-ish. I think there could work. Yeah. Let's just do there. Let's connect it up like that. And that does give us a little bit more zoning. Connect you guys up as well. And that just gives us a little loop there for the ferry terminal to take. Which, I mean, I think looks nice. A little bit of grass there too, just to break things up. And a little bit of residential zoning there as well, I think. So the ferry depot is right there. As for the ferry stop, I mean, I really only want one. I don't think we have a great need for more than one. And I think I'll put it sort of down here a little bit. Just so it's not too close to the university. I think that'd be a pretty bad idea to have it too close to the university. I also think I'm going to do that and bring this out a little bit. Maybe turning off the grid alignment, because I think that's the one I want off. So do that. And that gives us a little connection there. Maybe bulldoze this road so we can fix the zoning on it. Like that. It's a bit better. This road down here is going to be tricky for us because the zoning is going to be so weird on it. But I guess if we do that kind of thing, we eliminate the particularly weird zoning. So I guess that works. There we go. No problem. We have a little ferry stop there. We could throw another one down here. We absolutely could, but what I'm thinking is I want to throw a ferry stop in here. I think in here is going to be the best place for it. Interestingly, we can throw it right over there. Which is really nice, actually. I can also throw it right there if I want to. I don't think that would work, though. I think there is going to be a good spot for a ferry stop. Because what we can do is sort of have it, you know, have this little bit of road there curve, and have this sort of curve in as well. There's something like, let's see, can I freeform? There we go, that's what I want. So something like that, you know? Not the most pretty little corner, but Cozy Street is definitely a good name for it. We also have, like, ferry and bus exchanges, but I don't think I'm interested in that. Let's just go ahead and freeform some stuff here then. Turn off the angles so we can properly freeform this. So that's going to come out a little bit like that and go that way. This one's going to have to sort of curve around in a very interesting way. To get around that museum. I think you know what? That museum's going to go for the time being. Because I don't think that museum was in the best of locations. So then the ferries are sort of going to come along like this. Pretty close to the coast. But I think that's okay. They need to go under this bridge. Like that. And sort of come around like this. I want it to curve real nicely, staying on the coast. Coming in like that. Then this does need to connect to the depot. I really should put a stop down here so that we have actually got, you know, reason for ferries to come down here. So if I put a little ferry stop there, I think that could be nice. So something like that. And then we just connect that up as well. So it curves out and in like that. And that'll just let us have ferries go up and down that way. And I think that's going to look real nice. So we want one there. And then there. Then in there. And then we want them to come back, basically. We want them to just sort of loop around. And I think that's going to look so cool. Now, obviously, these guys don't all have power yet, but they will. There's the boat! There we go! Oh, we got 3 of them as well. What color is your line? Line is yellow. Can we go for, like, ConflictNerd orange here? That's not quite the orange for the channel, but, you know, that's pretty darn close. I think it looks cool. We got some proper little orange ferries going up and down the water there. I'm excited to see if these actually get used. There is actually someone there, which is nice. So that bodes well. That definitely makes me think that we might see some cool stuff there. I'm also thinking we could totally go ahead and if we turn off grid alignment and maybe road guidelines, we could totally go ahead and run like a little pedestrian path. Like right down here along the quay. And I think that could look really nice. I know I've sort of delved into aesthetics a little bit with this episode, and I do apologize for that. But I do like doing this occasionally where we properly just sort of dive in head first with the looks of a city. Quite a fan of doing that. I've had a couple of creative series here and there, so yeah, you'll have to forgive me on that one. But we'll have that link through there. We'll have you link through like that, I think. So something like there to there. And yeah, that'll let people walk up and down there without too much hassle, which I think will be lovely. That can sort of go there. And yeah, that looks alright to me. Maybe a couple of trees. Just something a little bit like that. Just to block off the water a little bit. Block off the pathway. Make it look a little bit more natural. Same with this area here, to be honest. Something a little bit like that. A little bit like that. A little bit like that. And same down here as well. Just to, you know, throw some nature in there. Either way, that's a proper little ferry line now, and there's actually people using it too, which is really surprising. I mean, there's a lot of people wanting to use this one, which I absolutely love. I mean, look at that. That is really cool to see. And also the fact that this part of the city now has like a shape to it. It's pretty cool to see as well. Let's see how these roads are doing then. So, this one is still a nightmare. This one's working pretty well. To be honest, I don't mind that they are backed up like that. I mean, yes, it's inefficient, but if you think about it, it's a city, man. That's kind of what happens. They have traffic jams. They sometimes the traffic gets backed up a little bit. It does happen. So I don't know to what extent I would want to get rid of all of that right now. I don't think it's a major priority. So I think I'm probably going to end up leaving the traffic jams as they are for the time being. I would like to align this pathway a little bit though, something like that, and then bring it. Let's see, bring it down a little bit, maybe to there. There's something like that, just so it connects up, you know. Just so we have a little connection there. Maybe do that one as well, so people might be inclined to walk through there. We could absolutely do the same over here as well, with a little path coming off of, I don't know, maybe there. Does that go straight through? Yes, it does. So that can run straight through to there. And maybe a little path going that way as well. Again, so people can walk straight through towards the university. First university of the city, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty cool. That can't go to there. Let's see. Can that work? Yes, it can. Right there. Alright, I'm excited to see if this area actually does end up working. I imagine, yeah, this bit of highway is a lot busier than it once was. That does make sense, though. So I'm not too worried about that, if I'm completely honest. How's this going? Let me have a little look. How many people are going to get off that boat? Quite a few. There's 14 on there currently. There's 25 on that one. There's 22 on that one. So yeah, the boats are definitely getting some use. 27 there. That's really cool. I like that people are keen to use the boats as a method of transportation. I really didn't think they would be. I really didn't think they'd want to use the boats. But it definitely seems like it's working. I think, ladies and gentlemen, what I'll do is we're going to get a couple more incinerators in here. We'll throw them over in the industrial space because we definitely need them. So we'll get an incinerator there. We'll throw one there as well. And that brought our incineration status up a little bit. Not amazingly, though. So maybe we go ahead and throw another incinerator in just there. Brings our status up a little bit. I want to keep an eye on garbage. I really do think we're going to need another one. I don't like the idea of flooding the city with a bunch of garbage trucks, but it really seems like that's just going to have to be what we do. We'll do this kind of thing. We'll see how that goes. That could be an absolute nightmare for traffic, putting that many garbage trucks on the roads. But I really do think we are going to need them. And if I can get my traffic flowing really well, then that many garbage trucks in the road really won't be that much of a problem. But I think that might be the last thing we do for this episode. I think next time what I'd like to do is merge all of the lakes. I want to put a big push on the idea of 60,000 people. We're almost at 50,000 currently, which is beautiful to see. I also want to put a big focus on services. Healthcare is not good. Fire coverage could be better. Policing could be better. Education could definitely be better. We're gonna need some new bus lines, and I think I also want to mess around with another couple of blimp lines, because we absolutely could get a few of those. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for today. So thank you kindly for watching. This has been City Skylines Mass Transit Part 11. And I'll see you next time. Oh, wait, by the way, if you're watching this video on the day that it goes out, and I'm hoping that if you've watched to the end, you're going to be someone's going to listen to my little message here. If you're watching this video on the day that it goes out, I am going to be streaming some City Skylines later tonight, later this evening, a couple of hours after this video goes out. I'll be streaming City Skylines. I'm streaming a different city. It's not this one, but I just wanted to let you know that I am streaming cities. I'm going to be regularly streaming City Skylines, so I would encourage you to follow me on Twitter. I'll let you know when I'm going live. I will also post a video saying that I'm going live, and the only reason I bring it up is because last time I streamed cities, we broke a record on my Twitch channel. The highest number of the highest number of viewers we ever had in Twitch concurrently was about 1,200, but that was a very special stream well over a year ago. I consider my own personal highest to have been about 400 and something. Last stream, we nearly hit 600. This City Skyline stream, I would like to hit 600 concurrent viewers, and I can only do that with your help, so I do hope you will tune in. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a good city that we've been building over there for a little while. And yeah, I think you'll have a good time. We'll listen to some music, we'll have some chats, and generally enjoy ourselves. So with that in mind, that is going to be it for part 11 of Mass Transit. Once again, thank you kindly for watching. It has been an absolute pleasure, and I, as always, will see you next time. Bye-bye!